We start at the peak of the chaos, a dense, shouting mob surging forward in a dusty courtyard, completely surrounding a knocked-over motorcycle. Then, the flashing lights of an investigative team cut through the noise, as detectives step out of their vehicle and directly into the center of the fray. Ask a bystander how a neighborhood halting riot like this starts, and you get a bizarre explanation: a massive fight triggered entirely by a few drops of spilled water. This minimalistic scale illustrates the mathematical disconnect at play here. On one side, a harmless droplet of water. On the other, severe property damage and escalating mob outrage. Experienced investigators see an immediate imbalance in this behavior. Generally, people do not invite police scrutiny over a minor spill unless another factor is overriding their standard survival instinct. This level of public outrage forces an observer to look past the argument and search for what the noise is actually obscuring. Rewind the timeline to the entirely mundane starting point. The victim, a young man named Pankaj, is quietly going about a daily chore, washing his bike. The aggressor makes her first tactical move by initiating unprovoked hostility over a non-issue. She complains loudly about the water, deliberately baiting a response. When mild irritation doesn't spark a big enough fire, she makes a rapid tactical shift. The situational complaint turns into deeply personal attacks regarding the victim's character, his education, and his lifestyle. Insulting someone's core identity serves a highly specific psychological purpose. It practically guarantees a defensive, loud, and emotional reaction from the target. But words alone still aren't enough to stop the neighborhood. The ultimate catalyst is physical. Shoving a heavy motorcycle into the dirt guarantees the conflict breaks out of a private argument and becomes a highly visible spectacle. This escalation is a step-by-step algorithm executed to transform a quiet, private moment into a loud, public arena. This schematic demonstrates attentional hijacking. A physical conflict forces human focus to lock on to the aggressor in the center. By pulling everyone outside to watch, every neighbor's back is intentionally turned. The aggressor's front door is left unguarded, entirely within the crowd's blind spot. The lead investigators exploit this exact geometry. While the mob remains fixated on the broken bike, the detectives quietly separate themselves from the crowd. They conduct a silent perimeter search, stepping right into the unattended home while the neighbors outside shout. By engineering a spotlight of chaos in the courtyard, a criminal can operate in the resulting shadow created by the neighborhood's own attention. Inside the abandoned home, the detectives find exactly what the fight was meant to protect: a suspicious bag stuffed with illegal goods. The moment hard, physical forensic evidence is brought out into the open, the aggressor's carefully constructed veil of outrage instantly neutralizes. She immediately pivots from aggressive attacker to defensive victim, claiming she was framed. It is a desperate tactic that collapses entirely given the contraband was secured inside her own home. And then there is the emotional toll on the initial victim. He is left isolated, processing the sudden realization that his genuine anger was manipulated as a cheap tool by someone else. The investigator leaves the young man with a critical directive. Careful observation and critical thinking must always outpace an emotional reaction to provocation. Extreme anger and public disputes are highly calculated tools for concealment. The next time someone creates a disproportionate scene, stop reacting to the noise and ask yourself what they are trying to stop you from seeing.